What I love about technology is the fact that we are able to do this hundreds of miles away from each other.
I know, and it works pretty well, actually.
Except for we've discovered that we're on delay. So if Cassie laughs at my joke a second late, it's not because she doesn't think I'm funny. It's because she didn't hear it the first time.
Exactly. I promise I'm not trying to mean anything with my awkward pauses.
A lot to discuss, awkward pauses, and more coming up next. Yo, yo, yo. What is
What
up?
up?
I am keynoting the Workout Anytime conference today
You
because this
are.
airs on Friday. Yeah, I am. I'm very
That's
much looking forward
great.
to it. It's going to
That's
be,
gonna be fun.
yeah, it's going to be a little bit off the cuff. I'm going to teach the group an equation on how to fucking crush it at business. See how it goes.
And fun fact, if you want to learn more about that equation, you can read Sticks and Stones.
That's true. Thank you, Cassie. Thank you for that promo. So, other
You're welcome.
fantastic news. I read this story. I was reading this while we were getting set up, and I'm very
Yeah.
fascinated by it.
Yeah, so I think that this is a cool marketing stunt in a way that also did some good. So Chili's, they had some of their loyalty members in Detroit. They essentially like picked them up in this huge branded bus, and then they brought out like Chili's school supplies to the families, and they brought them over to a restaurant to have like a meal. And it's basically a part of their opportunity. They're running this contest right now that's targeted at working families, where someone can win like a weekly dinner, which I think is a really cool thing to do. So I feel like a lot of times you hear about marketing stunts and it's like, okay, yeah, that just like gets your name in the news, but at least this did something positive.
Yeah. So, if you think of that, you can win a weekly dinner. A weekly dinner is also the way that all other brands give out free food for a year. So it's interesting how you reposition it for the working family to say once a week we're going to buy dinner for you. It's a different way of saying versus free food for a year. Um, but the other thing that I found fascinating about it when I was reading this story is that Chili's parent company Brinker reported positive income with total revenues in the fourth quarter of fiscal 2019 at 834.1 million, up 2.1% over the previous year. And then the article
Mm-hmm.
went on to note that this at a time when restaurant chains experienced a 3-year slump, according to a new report by Technomic. However, things are expected to turn around with an estimated $329.1 billion in restaurant sales for 2019, which is an increase. What is fascinating to me is Chili's is focused on the deal. They have the 3 for $10 menu, $5 margaritas of the month. So they're focusing on the discount, whereas other brands are like, hey, we need to raise costs to offset the cost of Grubhub or third party delivery. So you want a recipe for success. I think you got to remember that value.
I feel like it's really unrealistic. Is he the guy that wanted people to live on Mars too? Or was that
Yeah.
someone else?
Well, I mean, yes, he has some visions of Mars or something. Look here. I'm gonna give you two takes. Take one is we got so much shit going on in our world. How about we focus on making our world a better place before we figure out how to get out of there? That seems like a better use of time. Secondly, I know at least my age or your age, there were plenty of kids that dreamt of being an astronaut. That was something that was said. I have not heard a kid talk about being an astronaut, and part of that is probably because NASA isn't like it's not that appealing anymore. When it was a race to the moon, everybody wanted to be an astronaut because it was discovering the unknown, and then you get into outer space and you're like, well, shit, we don't know how to live up here. I mean, this it's not gonna change it. It's not like you go to Hawaii or you go to the moon. So I appreciate the ambition. I would appreciate it more if it was doing something to make our world better. I'm not sure it is.
There. Yeah.
Cash money.
All right. Cash money. So Amazon, and I think that this is a smart move, like everything else that they seemingly are doing these days. But they want to bring their Go technology, so what they use in their like Amazon Go stores, where it's cashierless, to other companies. So instead of them having to build out all these new stores and take on that cost of the brick and mortar, They're looking to partner with like the Regal Theater Company and another express store so that other areas in business are going to be able to leverage the tech. I mean, it definitely is going to hurt like job numbers from the people that are currently employed in those stores, but it's, I mean, it's not dumb, and it's seemingly where everything is going.
Yeah, let me put it this way: we're in a world where technology is taking over humans. That's going to mess up the labor pool, and I can promise you, it's coming. This is for anybody that is in a job. Just understand, like the world's going to shift. It's not going to be just about showing up anymore. It's about making a difference. That if you're looking at your job and saying "F this place," eventually this roller coaster is going to shift in another direction, and technology is showing you the future. That if you don't find a way to create loyalty, we talk about the younger generations shift jobs so frequently. I'm telling you, be very cautious of that. If you're in your first job out of college, stay at it for a year. You're going to need that on your resume when this shifts and businesses take control back of, or it sways back in control of businesses because labor pools are decreasing. That means they're going to be looking for people that can kick ass. So that's a word of warning out there that it's coming. And this is a great example of it.
Exactly.
Cassie, how long have you been in your job for?
I have been in my job for a little over 3.5 years.
That's awesome. You see, that's what I'm talking about. Be like hashtag. Be like Cassie.
Be like Cassie. Yeah.
All right.
Advice I can get behind.
Yeah, right. Oh God, this next one I don't know about.
I know. I don't know about it either. So Levi's is partnering with Google, and they are going to create a smart denim jacket. So essentially, it's like a little thing that you can put in your sleeve, so that the sleeve is operated as like the controls for your phone, so it can like pick up your calls or run your music. Like, is it really that difficult to take your phone out of your pocket if you have to be making a call? Also, you can just do it through Siri. Like, I mean, it's $200, which is cheaper than I would have anticipated. But it's like, did we learn nothing with Google Glass?
Did we learn nothing that if you don't use your muscles in your arms, you're not going to be able to raise your hand? You know, it's going to turn into people sitting in class going like this. And then, or like, it's going to be like eyelid technology. The teacher's like, do you have a question? It's like, yes, I do.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's just, I mean, technology obviously can do really cool things, but at what point is it just technology for the sake of saying that you can do it?
McDonald's was an amazing business when it was burgers, fries, shakes, done consistently every single time. When businesses try to become everything to everyone, you lose your focus. Your focus gets spread across all things. Levi's, focus on making a great pair of freaking jeans. Don't worry about integrating technology into the sleeves. So you'd be like, hey, because look, oh, wait a second, my watch already does that. So, right? Yeah. So, faux.
I was like, I don't know what message I just flashed at the camera. All right. So, friend or foe. This one, I mean, we'll see how this works, but it's everything. All roads lead to Amazon, seemingly. So IKEA is trying to figure out a way to basically compete with Amazon, and they're rolling out this new model in Queens. So it's basically like a city format instead of like when you think of IKEA, you think of like loading up a huge car and taking a trip out to the burbs. Like home delivery and more like convenient options, because they know that people that are going to be shopping in Queens are probably getting there via public transit, since not a lot of people in New York are going to be driving. It's not a bad idea. I mean, you're trying to figure out a way to have access to people that otherwise wouldn't be coming to your store. Like, I don't drive to IKEA. Like, I would never. Well, I also don't know how to build things like from instructions, so it's not my scene. But like, I guess we'll see if it works.
Uber meets Grubhub meets furniture. Smart. I think it's good to get into that discussion, because I don't know that Amazon's nailed the big ticket items yet. So, you know, I think it's wide open. I think that's an interesting story.
It is. All right, we're heating up.
We are heating up, heating up, heating up, heating up. What are we talking about this week?
So this week is talking about the timing of your leads and how it can change everything when you think about, you know, if you were to say, oh, they're a dead lead, they don't pick up the phone, the point that you make in this column, which I think is really fair, is if you're looking for a new job or a career change, you're not going to pick up a call from a recruiter in the middle of your day at your desk and be like, yeah, let's talk about this opportunity right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I've been monitoring one of our clients' lead forms fairly carefully. And one of the new things that we've added in there, trying to be innovative in the way that forms behave, is to ask more predictive questions that gives the sales team a little bit more insight into how that candidate is going to behave. So one of the questions is, are you looking to schedule a call, or are you just looking for information? I think for whatever reason, we put all lead candidates into this box where we say everybody equals X. And the reality is everybody is on a different buying process. No matter if you're buying a house or you're buying a car, like the reality is the buying process has multiple stages. It's not just start and finish. So as I've been studying these leads, I've been looking at timing, like when do you want to become a franchise owner? I've been looking at what time do you want to be contacted and how do you want to be contacted? And what I found fascinating is the majority of leads are saying, call me at night, which makes sense because I'm in a job. So the insight is, I bet you franchise sales teams work 9 to 5-ish, when the reality is maybe the qualifier should be working like 4 to 10, because that's when people want to talk, when they're away from their job, when they're away from their busy days, when they can concentrate on buying your brand. So the extension to that is, I was thinking about how many brands I've heard say, they're not calling me back. Well, maybe that's because they cannot find a time to call you during their busy days. Thus, if the candidate journey is going to have to evolve to have communication outside of what you predict or see as the four walls, then we need to adapt the way that we're communicating with them, and how do we want to talk with them, and how do they want to receive information. Therefore, when you're looking at your lead candidate, look at the scope of their day and figure out a way to deliver different points of content. They might be doing their homework between the hours of 8 to 5. They may want to talk to you at the end of their day. They may be willing to text you during the day to ask some questions. They may be willing to use a chat feature on your website, even though I haven't seen those work in a big way. But the point is, when I'm looking at this data that is now coming in through our kind of shifting in the way that we do forms on websites, I'm seeing huge opportunity for qualifications to move into the time frame that the prospects want to receive it. So evaluate that. Think about that when you're looking at your leads before you kick them out the door and say they're cold. Make sure you're just contacting them at the right time.
It's an on point, and you nailed that, like right at 0 seconds.
I know. Bruno was guiding me there. I saw his hand go up.
I did nail it.
I did nail it. Speaking of nailing it, I think we nailed it this week, Cass.
I think we did too. We're really getting this whole thing down.
Yeah. Hope you found a nugget. Yeah, I hope everybody that watched this got a nugget out of this. Think about your marketing a little bit differently. Think about your lead generation a little bit differently. And whatever you do, don't go to fucking outer space.
And on that note, have a lovely weekend.
Have a lovely weekend. See ya.